Stop scrolling. This moment carries weight. Not everything appearing before your eyes is random, and some messages arrive precisely when the spirit reaches readiness. I am Shi Heng Yi, and today this teaching reveals the hidden power behind divine encounters, the quiet signals that guide lives without noise or force. Across ancient Shaolin wisdom and timeless spiritual truth, encounters shape destiny through timing, awareness, and alignment. This video uncovers how unseen order works, why certain words, people, and signs cross your path at exact moments, and how resistance fades when alignment appears. Many miss these encounters because attention stays scattered. Yet those who recognize them move forward with calm strength and clarity. Lesser-known truths surface here. Spiritual encounters rarely shout, rarely rush, and rarely repeat. They appear once, carrying direction, correction, and elevation. Staying until the end matters, because understanding arrives layer by layer, and the final insight connects every sign into one clear message meant for this season of your life. Wisdom shared here bridges discipline and surrender, action and stillness, effort and trust, revealing how the universe responds when inner posture aligns with higher order. This teaching offers grounding, not fantasy, and direction rooted in centuries of practice rather than fleeting motivation. Welcome to Limitless Shaolin Way, a space for those seeking depth, clarity, and inner mastery. Subscribe and walk this path together, where every encounter becomes purposeful and nothing appears by accident. This message reached you now because timing carries intelligence. Not the kind measured by clocks, but the kind felt inwardly. God rarely speaks through force or volume. The voice arrives softly through alignment, through moments that simply feel right without explanation. When the heart becomes still enough, confirmation replaces confusion. That is when guidance appears. Nothing in your life unfolded late. Nothing arrived early. Every delay shaped capacity. Every closed door refined direction. What felt like silence was preparation. What felt like loss was clearing space. God works quietly, arranging circumstances while you grow inwardly. When readiness meets timing, resistance dissolves. This season marks a shift. Energy changes when purpose aligns. The struggle eases not because effort increases, but because direction becomes clear. When God opens a door, it opens without struggle. No forcing, no chasing. Only movement that feels supported. The door ahead differs from past opportunities. It does not demand exhaustion. It invites presence. It requires trust more than striving. This is alignment replacing effort, flow replacing friction. Preparation often happens unseen, in solitude, in patience, in lessons that felt repetitive, yet nothing was wasted. Every step strengthened discernment. Every setback sharpened clarity. Faith grew quietly beneath the surface. Fear may still whisper questions. Fear always speaks first when change approaches. Faith responds without argument. Faith steps forward even without full visibility. Direction unfolds through movement, not hesitation. Releasing the old matters now. Old disappointments. Old narratives. Old identities shaped by survival rather than purpose. Carrying them forward blocks momentum. Letting go creates space for expansion. Perfection was never required. Willingness always was. Readiness means openness, not flawlessness. God responds to posture, not performance. This opening carries responsibility. Growth arrives with purpose attached. Comfort expands, but so does calling. The path ahead stretches capacity while strengthening peace. Something meaningful begins to align. Quietly, steadily, without needing announcement. January 21st carries weight beyond numbers. Certain moments hold spiritual density, where transitions occur without noise. This day represents movement from waiting into alignment. Not coincidence, not chance. A threshold where preparation meets permission. Some doors remain closed until this point, because timing protects destiny. Opening too early creates damage. Opening too late creates stagnation. Divine timing opens precisely when strength, wisdom, and clarity converge. This moment signals readiness. Closed doors in the past were not punishment, they were guidance. Each delay redirected focus. Each denial refined discernment. Protection often disguises itself as disappointment. Looking back now, patterns begin to reveal purpose. When God opens a door, resistance fades, opposition weakens, paths straighten. What once felt heavy begins to move with ease. This is not because circumstances change overnight, but because alignment shifts internally first. This door differs from earlier opportunities. It does not demand proving worth. It does not ask for exhaustion. It responds to trust. Calm replaces urgency. Direction replaces confusion. Much of the preparation occurred quietly. No applause, no recognition. Growth matured beneath stillness. Discipline formed in patience. Wisdom developed through repetition. Nothing was wasted. Fear may attempt to rise as the threshold approaches. Fear always surfaces when old identities dissolve. Yet fear does not signal danger. It signals expansion. Fate responds not with certainty, but with movement. Releasing the previous season becomes essential now. Old attachments slow momentum. Old stories distort vision. Letting go creates space for clarity to enter. Alignment begins to replace effort. Movement feels supported rather than forced. Progress feels natural rather than strained. This is the mark of divine order. Readiness matters more than perfection. Willingness outweighs credentials. Openness attracts guidance. This door opens toward purpose, not convenience. Growth arrives alongside peace. Responsibility walks with blessing. Something shifts quietly on this path. No announcement needed. The opening speaks through inner confirmation. The transition unfolds steadily, guided by timing that cannot be rushed or resisted. Those closed doors were never rejection. They were protection wearing the disguise of disappointment. Each time something failed to move forward, direction quietly changed. What felt like loss was guidance. What felt unfair was mercy unfolding slowly. Many paths looked promising but carried hidden weight. Entering them too early would have drained purpose. Some connections would have distracted focus. Some opportunities would have limited growth. God blocks roads that would shrink your future, even when desire pulls strongly toward them. Redirection rarely feels gentle at first. The ego resists it. The mind questions it. Yet time reveals its wisdom. Looking back now, clarity begins to rise. Certain endings saved energy. Certain delays preserved peace. Certain refusals guarded identity. When a door is not meant for you, effort increases without alignment. Progress feels heavy. Joy fades quickly. Confusion lingers. These signs are not failure. They are signals. God communicates through resistance as much as through ease. Protection also builds discernment. Each closed door sharpened awareness. You learn to recognize patterns. You learn to pause before forcing outcomes. You learned the difference between pressure and purpose. Now the season changes. Discernment replaces urgency. Calm replaces striving. The door ahead opens without negotiation. No convincing, no chasing. Movement feels supported. This new opening does not require proving value. Worth was never in question. Readiness was, teaming was, alignment was. Those lessons were taught quietly through what did not work. Release resentment tied to past delays. Carrying it forward clouds perception. Gratitude clears vision. Gratitude reveals how far guidance has already carried you. Protection often prepares strength. Endurance formed quietly. Patience deepened roots. Faith matured beyond expectation. These qualities were not accidental. They were necessary. This path ahead responds to who you have become, not who you were trying to be. Growth positioned you here. Awareness anchors you now. The opening appears natural because preparation already occurred. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was random. Every closed door shaped the clarity required to recognize the right one when it finally opens. When the timing aligns, doors open without struggle. Not through pressure, not through persuasion. Resistance simply loosens. What once stood immovable begins to shift on its own. This is the nature of divine order. When God opens a door, effort no longer argues with outcome. The difference becomes clear immediately. Movement feels natural. Conversations flow. Support appears quietly. Obstacles dissolve without confrontation. This is not luck. This is alignment responding to readiness. Forced doors demand constant energy. They require explanation, defense, and exhaustion. Open doors require presence. They invite steadiness rather than urgency. Peace replaces tension. Direction replaces doubt. No one can block what is meant to move now. Opinions lose influence. Delays lose power. Opposition weakens. What belongs to you recognizes you without resistance. This is not about dominance. It is about resonance. Trust deepens when struggle ends. Faith matures when results no longer depend on control. Letting go becomes easier because outcomes no longer feel fragile. Security shifts inward. This opening responds to inner posture. Humility attracts guidance. Stillness sharpens awareness. Discipline maintains clarity. These qualities quietly unlock what effort alone could not. The door ahead remains open because it aligns with purpose, not ego. It supports growth rather than comfort alone. Responsibility arrives with opportunity. Expansion walks alongside accountability. Stay present. Rushing fractures clarity. Overthinking disrupts flow. Guidance speaks through simplicity now. One step reveals the next. Movement confirms direction. Resistance fading does not mean challenges disappear. It means challenges no longer confuse. Obstacles become teachers rather than barriers. Progress continues even when effort fluctuates. This moment rewards patience practiced earlier. Endurance strengthened capacity. Awareness refined choices. Faith stabilized direction. All of it prepared you to recognize ease without guilt. What opens now remains open because it is held by timing greater than willpower. No force required. No defense needed. The path supports itself when alignment leads. This door feels different because it does not ask for struggle. No proving, no chasing. The urgency that once drove movement fades here. In its place comes calm, a quiet assurance that direction is held, even without constant effort. Striving belonged to an earlier season. It taught endurance. It built discipline. Yet striving was never meant to last forever. This opening invites trust instead. Trust in timing, trust in guidance, trust in the process unfolding step by step. Peace becomes the signal now. Not excitement, not fear. Peace confirms alignment. When inner resistance dissolves, clarity sharpens, decisions simplify. The right step becomes obvious without debate. Alignment replaces force. Actions feel supported rather than draining. Energy returns instead of depleting. Progress continues even when effort softens. This is movement guided rather than pushed. This door honors inner growth. It responds to presence, not pressure. Stillness becomes strength. Awareness becomes direction. The quieter you listen, the clearer the path appears. Discipline remains, but its role changes. It no longer fights against resistance. It protects alignment. It sustains focus. It maintains balance while momentum carries forward. Trust deepens through surrender. Control loosens without fear. Outcomes no longer feel fragile. Security stabilizes within, not outside. This season values quality over speed, depth over display, substance over appearance. The door opens toward purpose, not performance. Impact forms through consistency rather than intensity. Old patterns lose relevance here. Comparison fades, urgency quiets. External validation matters less. Internal confirmation guides decisions. Peace does not mean stagnation, it means direction free from conflict. Growth continues without friction. Expansion arrives without chaos. This opening reflects who you have become through patience, humility, and resilience. It recognizes readiness through stillness. The path ahead remains steady because it is built on alignment rather than effort. Movement now follows trust. Trust follows clarity. Clarity follows presence. And presence holds the key to what unfolds next. Much of the most important preparation happens quietly, away from recognition, away from approval. Growth forms in moments that feel ordinary, even invisible. While nothing seems to change on the surface, everything reshapes within. Silence builds strength differently. It removes distraction, it exposes patterns, it refines intention. In quiet seasons, discipline deepens without performance. Character forms without witnesses. These moments shape capacity more than visible success ever could. Unseen growth develops resilience, patience stretches, awareness sharpens, emotional weight learns balance. Lessons repeat until they settle into understanding. This is not delay, this is foundation. Opportunity arrives only when structure can support it. Without preparation, openings collapse under pressure. Silence reinforces the inner frame, so expansion does not overwhelm. Stability must exist before elevation. Many felt forgotten during this phase. Effort went unnoticed. Progress felt slow, yet guidance continued steadily. Every repetition built mastery. Every pause strengthened control. Stillness also teaches listening. Intuition grows clearer without noise. Discernment matures when attention turns inward. This clarity becomes essential when opportunity finally appears, because direction then requires precision, not speed. Silence removes the need for validation. Identity stabilizes. Confidence becomes quiet. Movement becomes intentional rather than reactive. This prevents distraction once doors begin to open. When preparation completes, opportunity feels natural. No shock, no panic, only recognition. The door appears because readiness already exists. Those silent seasons cultivated trust. Trust in process, trust in timing, trust in inner guidance. This trust now supports forward movement without fear. Nothing learned in silence is lost. Every habit formed carries forward. Every boundary strengthened protects alignment. Every lesson anchors clarity. Growth unseen is growth that lasts. It holds firm when attention returns. It supports expansion without collapse. This is why the opening ahead feels steady rather than overwhelming. Preparation already did its work, quietly, patiently, exactly when it needed to. Fear always speaks first when change approaches. It analyzes risk. It recalls past pain. It searches for certainty before allowing movement. Fear demands proof before trust. Yet proof rarely appears before the step is taken. Faith responds differently. Faith does not argue with fear. It moves quietly despite it. Faith listens inwardly and acts without complete visibility. This is not recklessness. It is alignment with guidance beyond logic. Clarity does not arrive all at once. Direction unfolds through motion. Each step reveals the next. Waiting for total understanding delays progress. Faith accepts partial light and walks forward anyway. Fear magnifies uncertainty. It projects outcomes that have not occurred. It binds attention to old experiences. Faith releases those projections. Faith stays present. Presence dissolves imagined threats. This moment requires courage without drama. Not bold declarations, not forceful leaps, simple movement in the right direction, consistent steps guided by inner confirmation. Faith trusts timing. It does not rush or resist. It recognizes when hesitation protects and when hesitation obstructs. Discernment grows from practice, not from certainty. Fear seeks control. Faith surrenders control while maintaining responsibility. This balance creates stability. Control exhausts. Trust sustains. Growth now depends on willingness to move before comfort returns. Comfort follows alignment, not the other way around. Peace settles after action confirms direction. Past disappointments may resurface as warnings. Acknowledge them without obedience. Experience provides wisdom, not limitation. Faith integrates lessons without carrying fear forward. This path does not promise absence of challenge. It promises clarity through movement. Challenges refine rather than block. Obstacles teach rather than stop. Each step taken in faith strengthens confidence. Confidence then quiets fear. Momentum builds naturally. Progress becomes visible. Faith is not blind. It is attentive. It listens beyond noise. It responds without urgency. It advances without complete maps. The door ahead responds to this posture. Movement activates support. Stillness, rooted in fear, delays flow. Trust opens space for guidance to continue unfolding. Fear always speaks first when change approaches. It analyzes risk. It recalls past pain. It searches for certainty before allowing movement. Fear demands proof before trust. Yet proof rarely appears before the step is taken. Faith responds differently. Faith does not argue with fear. It moves quietly despite it. Faith listens inwardly and acts without complete visibility. This is not recklessness, it is alignment with guidance beyond logic. Clarity does not arrive all at once. Direction unfolds through motion. Each step reveals the next. Waiting for total understanding delays progress. Faith accepts partial light and walks forward anyway. Fear magnifies uncertainty. It projects outcomes that have not occurred. It binds attention to old experiences. Faith releases those projections. Faith stays present. Presence dissolves imagined threats. This moment requires courage without drama. Not bold declarations, not forceful leaps. Simple movement in the right direction. Consistent steps guided by inner confirmation. Faith trusts timing. It does not rush or resist. It recognizes when hesitation protects and when hesitation obstructs. Discernment grows from practice, not from certainty. Fear seeks control. Faith surrenders control while maintaining responsibility. This balance creates stability. Control exhausts. Trust sustains. Growth now depends on willingness to move before comfort returns. Comfort follows alignment, not the other way around. Peace settles after action confirms direction. Past disappointments may resurface as warnings. Acknowledge them without obedience. Experience provides wisdom, not limitation. Faith integrates lessons without carrying fear forward. This path does not promise absence of challenge. It promises clarity through movement. Challenges refine rather than block. Obstacles teach rather than stop. Each step taken in faith strengthens confidence. Confidence then quiets fear. Momentum builds naturally. Progress becomes visible. Faith is not blind. It is attentive. It listens beyond noise. It responds without urgency. It advances without complete maps. The door ahead responds to this posture. Movement activates support. Stillness rooted in fear delays flow. Trust opens space for guidance to continue unfolding. The old season cannot travel forward with you. Carrying yesterday's pain adds weight that was never meant for this path. What once protected you now restricts movement. Release is not forgetting. Release is choosing freedom over familiarity. Pain teaches, but holding it past its lesson clouds perception. Old disappointments shape caution. Old wounds shape hesitation. They whisper warnings even when danger has passed. Blessings struggle to land when hands remain closed. Letting go requires honesty. Acknowledging what hurt. Acknowledging what changed. Acknowledging what no longer belongs. Denial delays healing. Acceptance restores balance. The mind clings to patterns because they feel known. Even painful patterns offer predictability. Growth disrupts that comfort. Releasing the old season means stepping into uncertainty with trust rather than fear. Forgiveness clears internal space, not for others, but for peace. Resentment binds energy to moments already finished. Gratitude loosens those bonds. Gratitude recognizes survival, strength, and guidance hidden within difficulty. This release creates room for alignment. Vision sharpens. Energy lightens. Direction clarifies. Movement feels smoother because resistance dissolves from within. Holding on to the past often feels responsible, as though vigilance prevents repetition. Wisdom already exists without attachment. Lessons remain even when pain leaves. The new door responds to openness. Carrying heavy narrative slows entry. Stepping forward lightly allows momentum to build naturally. This season asks for presence, not protection. Awareness replaces defense. Trust replaces anticipation of harm. Balance replaces hypervigilance. Release also reshapes identity. You are no longer defined by what ended. You are defined by what continues to grow. Letting go honors the version of you that endured, while allowing the next version to emerge. This process may feel uncomfortable at first. Old emotions surface before dissolving. This is clearing, not regression. Healing often moves upward through release. As the old season loosens its grip, blessings recognize availability. Opportunity responds to openness. Growth accelerates when weight is removed. What you carry determines how far you travel. Lightness invites expansion. Letting go opens the path ahead. Alignment changes everything. Effort alone exhausts. Alignment carries momentum. When direction matches purpose, movement feels supported rather than strained. Energy multiplies instead of draining. Progress continues even when intensity softens. Effort pushes against resistance. Alignment moves with timing. This is why some seasons feel heavy while others feel guided. The difference is not strength, it is positioning. When inner posture aligns with higher order, flow replaces friction. Alignment simplifies decisions. Distractions lose influence. The right choice feels clear without debate. This clarity protects energy and preserves focus. Movement becomes intentional rather than reactive. God responds to readiness, not perfection. Perfection creates pressure. Readiness creates openness. Flaws do not block guidance. Resistance does. Willingness invites direction. Humility attracts support. Readiness means availability, a heart open to learning, a mind flexible to change, a spirit grounded in trust. These qualities matter more than credentials or timing. Perfection delays movement. It waits for certainty. It seeks approval. Readiness steps forward with sincerity. It allows growth to continue through action. Mistakes do not disqualify, they refine. Correction strengthens alignment. Progress occurs through responsiveness, not flawlessness. This season values posture over performance, authenticity over appearance, consistency over intensity. Growth stabilizes when effort aligns with purpose. When readiness meets timing, guidance becomes obvious. Support appears naturally. Opportunities respond. Resistance weakens. This is not coincidence, it is alignment activated. Let go of the need to be complete before beginning. Completion emerges through movement. Clarity sharpens through experience. Confidence strengthens through trust. Willingness keeps the path open. Rigidity closes it. Flexibility allows course correction without fear. This adaptability sustains long-term progress. Alignment also restores peace. Inner conflict dissolves. Decisions feel anchored, outcomes feel supported. Movement feels meaningful. The door ahead responds to this posture. It opens to sincerity, not perfection. To openness, not control. To readiness, not performance. This alignment carries you forward, steady and guided, exactly where you need to be. This door does not open only to make life easier. It opens to make life meaningful. What's coming is not designed to keep you comfortable, but to help you grow into who you were always meant to become. Purpose often asks more from you than comfort ever will, yet it gives back in ways comfort never can. Strength deepens, wisdom expands, peace settles in places that once felt uncertain. Growth may stretch you, responsibility may increase, yet you will not walk this path unsupported. When a door opens through divine timing, grace walks with you. Each step shapes clarity. Each challenge strengthens alignment. You are not being led forward to impress others, but to fulfill something deeper within you. Trust the process unfolding now. Trust the quiet confirmations. Trust the inner calm guiding your choices. This season marks expansion with meaning attached, progress with intention, movement with purpose. If this message resonated with your spirit, take a moment to like this video. It helps this wisdom reach those who need it. Subscribe to Limitless Shaolin Way to continue walking this path of clarity, discipline, and inner mastery together. Remember this, when the right door opens, you don't step into it to escape life. You step into it to finally live it.